From the great state of Texas, you are listening to Skip the Noise podcast, a Rounded Edge media production. Thank you all for joining us. And by us, I mean Rick, Ben, and yours truly, Benjamin. Shout out, as always, to Mike Tacklebox for the music. So, gentlemen, before we create a pile of doom, negativity, and chaos, any positivity or any shout outs we have?
Yeah. I'm all in on this one, guys. Super positive. After my wonderful experience with the local law enforcement for my wonderful speeding ticket that I was given, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go and do the defensive driving route. And
so this is actually like an update.
Oh yeah. It's done. It's all done.
That was like several episodes ago.
Yeah, dude, I'm all in. I wanted to clear it up because, I don't want to be driving dirty. So did the defensive driving and picked an online comedy course. It was great. It was wonderful.
Online comedy, huh?
Oh my God.
It was great. It was in cartoon. So like the jokes were the worst things I've ever heard. Everything was horrible. It was just horrible. But you know what? It's over now. I just want to give a shout out to those poor gentlemen that had to do the voiceovers. I guarantee you each one of them slit their veins after they were done with that because it was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. The jokes were horrible. Like one guy was like, they had a cast of characters in the background, and they are like, oh, well, my name is Billy Bob. And then there's like some like sorority girl. And then it was like and then they decided to really throw the funny curveball in. They had an 80-year-old who was like, yeah, I'm representing for the West Side. Whoa.
Oh, no.
Hashtag check me out. Like he was saying that shit throughout the whole thing. So before I stabbed myself several times, it was pretty cumbersome. But you know what? I do have to say, thank God I can do it online because, better than going to a classroom and seeing some douchebag do that in real life. And then can you imagine? Huh?
No, I was just going to say, can you imagine? So somebody at some point in their career wanted to be George Carlin. They had aspirations of, I don't know, maybe writing like a New York Times bestseller. But at some point they just had to make the decision. Well, this defensive driving thing is paying a paycheck. So I guess I'll be the voice for an old man who's hip to hip slangs. And
I was so disappointed throughout the whole thing, but it's over with. I'm happy. Ticket's going to be filed all the paperwork with the court, so it's done. So I just wanted to just update. Bam. It's over. I can now drive, not driving dirty. I can now speed through
right, just do it all over again.
Let's just find out how many of these I can get done. So yeah, shout out to I think it was Comedy Defensive Driving. That was literally the name of it. They're from H-Town too.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's a big shout out. It was a good experience, except for just the horrible videos. But you know what? In the end, it's defensive driving. How much material do you?
Right. How funny can you actually make it? So you know what? That being said, especially knowing they're from H-Town, big up.
Yeah. Hey man, you know what? Yes. Yeah. You get the golf clap.
Gotcha. You got anything, Rick?
No, I don't really have a shout out to anything. I do want to say that I've been watching an old movie, Trading Places, with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy.
Okay. Yeah.
Classic. I went ahead and bought the actual DVD before it gets canceled.
Good move, actually.
Yeah, man. I'm afraid this movie's gonna get taken out of Google and. Yeah, man. Hey, it's got Dan Aykroyd in blackface. All right.
Yeah.
Do you know what the crime for that is now? It used to be funny back in the 80s. Now it's it's sacrilege.
Remember Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell? Yeah, you couldn't make that. I mean, at the end of the day, that was actually a good, funny movie that had a pretty good heart, and it told a good story. But there's no way you could tell that story today.
Never. So anyway, I went ahead and bought the DVD version on Amazon. Nice. And I uploaded it to my computer and I started watching it on my phone. And it's a funny movie. Like I forgot how funny that shit was.
Oh shit! The best part is when Eddie Murphy's begging, and he's on that little like skateboard thing. Give me money, and then he stands up. They're like, "What the fuck?"
Thank you, officer. Thank you, officer. I can walk now.
I can walk. I can walk. That was the greatest fucking dude. I love that whole movie, man. And the dollar bet. Nothing's greater than just waging a person's whole life over $1. Great movie.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a quick one. Shout out to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, for reviving the XFL, because I honestly have to say, I mean, maybe it was just because the Houston team, the Roughnecks, were kicking everybody's ass. And I'm not going to lie and act like I watched every game like I do NFL or anything, but it was kind of cool to have in other words, I liked what the XFL was doing. I thought it was kind of promising as a second option. And not only that, maybe like a farm system for the NFL, because there was a few guys that kind of created a little bit of buzz. And so anyway, when COVID hit and that thing just completely shut down like overnight, I honestly felt kind of bad for the guys that had really good seasons and were showing some promise and some talent in hopefully would have had a shot maybe at making an NFL roster. So I thought it was cool that the Rock stepped in, and because I have a feeling I don't think Vince McMahon had any aspirations. He was probably just trying to cut his losses at that point. And so yeah, shout out to the Rock for making that a thing again. I mean, we'll see what happens, but just the fact that it at least isn't completely dead and gone, I think is kind of cool. So that's what I got.
Plus, you know what? It'd be awesome if we had like you know how AAA baseball teams, like that's really the only way you can take a family to a baseball game now. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're affordable tickets. It's great atmosphere. Like there's one over here in it's over in like closer to like Plano, the Colony, whatever. And it's like it's on Dr. Pepper Field. It's a great team. You pay like $3, $5 per person. You can take the whole family there for $40 with a hot dog. So like to me, that's like I think like those type of sports teams really have a market. Like I really wish that they would pump them up more, because that's a really only affordable way to see any type of professional sports. I mean, think about trying to go to a Cowboys game with my family.
Forget it.
My God. I mean, yeah, I've sold a kidney just to get in the door. So
bro, I haven't been to a Texans. I haven't been to a Texans game since 2004. Dead serious. Just because there's no way. Like I can't. I can't, baseball's one thing, there's 162 games, so it's a little more, but even then only go to, a handful of games a year. Yep. And then basketball, that's out of the question. That's like a once every 5 years thing.
Oh, I know. You're paying at least $150 a ticket. That's why I like MLS so much, dude, because MLS for time was affordable, but now.
It's a little different. Yeah. I had, me and my sister-in-law had season tickets to the Dynamo for a couple years there. Yeah. So that was kind of fun, but yeah, no, you're right, man. Like the upper echelon leagues, the XFL, the NFL, NBA, and it's too pricey, man, for a family. It's all business, bringing their clients and all that kind of stuff. So, or families that go maybe like once a year, you know what I mean? They save up and then you feel obligated almost to like, well, we gotta get hot dogs, right? And then by the end of it, dude, you're just busted. So
and plus you got to get tanked. I got to get tanked at a game.
I'm gonna get $12 beers, bro,
all day.
What do you? Yeah,
it's credit card range, homie. Credit card range.
Yeah, definitely not gonna. Yeah, no cash on that one. But anyway, so now that we'll quickly dive into a pretty somber thing. So I definitely just wanted to say our hearts and prayers are with the people of Beirut right now. I'm sure everybody saw this, but that explosion, obviously, I don't know the body count or the injuries, but I know it's absolutely catastrophic for the city. And I don't know also too, I'm sure their COVID numbers were, it's affecting everybody. So on top of that, to have that go down, the economy, everything, it's going to be a rough uphill battle for that city. And, but yeah, that was watching that video. that was one of the most crazy things I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They were saying it was fireworks in the beginning, and then but the more I look at that video, man, I mean, there's no way that could have been a firework or just gunpowder.
No, dude.
That thing was going, that ball was going upward. You know, it wasn't spreading. Yeah. It was very localized. It was in that area.
Yeah.
It was a mushroom cloud. You see explosions, they go sideways, you know, these rudimentary explosions. But this one was very calculated. It went upward. Then the blast went to the side, and that's where everything broke. But
right. So the theories that are out there, right? A bunch of speculation surrounded this thing. And yeah, first, like you said, it was about people saying they stored fireworks there. But you're right. That would have been I'm not an expert in, explosives or anything like that, but I would definitely see it being something different. So then they say it was storing ammonium nitrate, like fertilizer type products, and it just hadn't been regulated to standards. And so it was kind of in an unsafe state. But then there's also, depending on how far you want to go into the rabbit hole, was it a warehouse for, missiles or stored weapons?
Right.
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think that's where the first thing. Yeah. I mean, my initial reaction to the whole thing when I saw the mushroom cloud was, am I seeing a nuclear detonation? Like that was my first going, oh my God, there's a real war about to start. Someone just set off a nuclear bomb. But after you notice it for a second, there wasn't a radiation, and you noticed there wasn't the intense heat. There was a pressure wave, but it wasn't intense heat. I was like, okay, it's not a nuclear bomb, but what the hell? This was some serious impact. I mean, it depends on how far you want to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm pretty sure this has to do with Hezbollah. I think Hezbollah had a large storage of munitions there. I think this is my theory, so take it as for what it is. I think Hezbollah had ammonium nitrate there as a deterrent, so Israel couldn't bomb that facility without causing a major catastrophic explosion like we saw. So I think they had their munitions and their missile program there. That's what a lot of people are saying, and that's even Israel detailed that area in 2018 as possible places where Hezbollah was working on their smart missiles, which is, something, basically they were going to be able to lob missiles with way more precision. They were working on them there. So I think for sure there was munitions there. It was the ammonium nitrate. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we seen what that shit did in Tianjin in China and what it did in
Oklahoma
City.
Yeah.
I mean, that was only 2 tons in Oklahoma City. That shit is for real. But to store 2,700 tons of an extremely explosive material, and to do it for several years and for no reason.
Beirut.
Yeah, for no reason other than we just forgot it was here.
Right.
Bullshit.
No,
bullshit.
That does. Yeah, I don't know much about the details, but that doesn't seem likely. Any kind of stockpile with something that volatile has got to be on the radar of a lot of people, and I don't know that I don't know how old that hotel is.
Oh man,
but yeah, I don't know what the story, but yeah, I mean, it was next door to that thing. So yeah,
I saw a video for someone that was eating on the balcony of it.
How did the video survive that?
That dude, the person survived. They survived the pressure wave. And I'm telling you, they had their phone. I saw it. It showed the person kind of almost over a balcony videotaping it. And next thing you know, they see the initial explosion. I think they're like, hey, this is not good. And then the secondary happens. And that, oh my God. I mean,
that's the real, bro. Yeah, that was the real. That was the thing about this is now in a day and age where everybody's got the ability to record at a moment's notice, and the thing was that because it was already there was already a fire and it was smoking. It's one of those things that people. That's why there's so many videos of it, because people are like, hey, what the hell is this? Let me film this, and then all of a sudden, kaboom! And I mean, just from watching a little video on your phone, you can almost feel the impact.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a video of, there was one guy in his car. So every angle of this was super shocking. And then there was one, it was real trippy because it was very some girl was shooting her wedding photos,
Oh, yeah, I
her
saw that one.
bridal photos. So it was on this very professional grade camera, and like the explosion happened during the shooting, or during capturing the footage. And so immediately after, the guy's scrambling around, but it's shot like, you're used to seeing these things captured on cell phone, but captured on, super expensive equipment was almost even more eerie, and you can see the smoke and oh, dude.
The best part about that video is how the photographer ran away from everyone else. You should notice how the camera was like, I'm out.
Yeah. Congratulations, guys. Good luck on your wedding, but I'm done. You can find a new photographer. Peace.
Yeah, he's like, man, fuck this. Good luck. That's gonna be a marriage.
And too. So in our area, in the Southeast Texas, obviously we have a lot of. It's not uncommon to have chemical plants explode. And so we're in this region of the country, we deal with a lot of these, and so there's a lot of anecdotal stories of like, oh man, the whole house shook and this, but I've never in my life seen anything like that. So yeah, to say that was obviously the fireworks thing, that I don't think that holds up. Obviously
Well, there was a fireworks factory right next door. So that was kind of the ignition. But to say that, I mean, the whole thing that there's 2,700, how do you know the exact number of tons of ammonium nitrate there?
That's what I was going to ask you. Is that what was reported?
100%.
They have the exact number of.
Yeah. So, it's 2,700 tons. And that came out within the first, because I was on this pretty quick after it happened, and that was within the first 30 to 45 minutes or saying, oh yeah, that building had 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate.
Well, maybe it was at a port, so they have a bill of lading and all that other stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time,
they would have records.
That kind of stuff is pretty well documented.
Wait, it is, and you're right, but at the same time, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you put it downtown?
Exactly. And I'm telling you, I really think, and this is putting on my further hat, I think it was a hit. I think, a team went in to clear that place out and somebody made a mistake, because nobody wanted that. I don't think Israel wanted that. I know Israel's behind it. It doesn't make any sense for them not to be. This was a Hezbollah munitions situation, or, factory. They got hit. It blew up. I mean, you can't tell me, it was just too much. There's just too many dots here.
So you think that it was, so you said you think Israel's behind it. So what you mean is, but it wasn't the intention to detonate.
No, I think they were there to clean out the technology, but something went wrong. Let's say, imagine a team goes in to clean up the workers, the scientists, the plans, the files, basically put them back to square one.
Maybe destroy some machines, something.
Exactly, something like that. Or even a well-planned computer virus like StuckNet, like what we did with Iraq. Something just didn't go right.
Or like maybe stealing intel, I don't know.
Or maybe it was a suicide switch. Maybe Hezbollah set up a suicide switch on it. Basically once somebody broke in, when someone didn't have access, when something went down, they said, well, fuck it, we're all going down then. I mean, that's not unknown for, extremist groups that when cornered or when housed in certain situations, they'll just blow the whole damn thing up. So, I mean, it could be one of those. I'm more to the fact that I think like Israel went in, they fucked up, and somebody screwed up, someone shot where they weren't supposed to shoot, or someone did something. And I think that's really what happened.
Well, and speaking of disasters, did anybody see our president's interview and the HBO Axios?
Oh my God. It looked like it kind of reminded me of like a baby seal getting hit with a bat. It was just ridiculous. Like you just heard, I mean, that's what it looked like, dude. He got handled. He got handled, man.
Well, you know what it felt like to me, and I'll truth be told, I didn't watch all, because I think it's about 30 something minutes.
38.
Yeah, I didn't get through the entire thing, but the parts of it that I did see, yeah, it to me, here's what I'll compare it to, because I interview a lot of people, like for like job
Yeah,
interviews. It felt like one of them that I'd be like, oh, this, he's just kind of like he's talking out of his ass and he's reaching, like he doesn't really have a good answer for the question. Am I right?
The whole fucking interview was that, bro.
It's the same
The whole
vibe.
interview.
Like he was interviewing for a position and he just kept like,
He had an interview with Chris Wallace, and it seemed like he tried to answer the same way he did with Chris Wallace with this guy. I really don't think he knew what he was walking into. It wasn't the best interview. Yeah, it was definitely a really bad interview. That's for sure.
Like, what do you mean best interview? I think that Jonathan Swan did a great job.
Yeah,
I think he gave him questions and then gave him a chance to answer. And then whenever Trump came up with bullshit, he put him on it. I mean, that's a good interview, right?
That is a good interview. But can he do that with like other politicians? I mean,
I think he has. Yeah, he smoked other people. That's his MO. He gets off on smoking people, and I'll tell you, he rolled that dude up like he rolled that dude and smoked him. I mean, it was embarrassing. It looked like a child. It looked like a grown man dunking on a child in a basketball game.
Yeah, and from the, like I said, the parts that I saw, props to him, man. I don't know much about him. I don't have HBO, and I didn't really. So this is kind of my first encounter with him. But yeah, man, he came to play. Like he had the right questions. He didn't fuck around at all. He went right at him, but in a like a fair way. It wasn't disrespectful. It was just
not at all.
These are the questions I have for you. These are the questions a lot of people have for him. So props to him for the thing that sucks about it. Not that sucks, but I guess the embarrassing part is, that's the leader of our country. And as an American, I'm being totally honest. It's like, damn, even though I don't, I'm not a Trump supporter, I still do. I don't like to see the leader of our country getting, and you know what I mean? It's embarrassing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So it's not a good feeling watching that. Like, as much as I don't like Trump,
I liked it.
I would have
enjoyed it.
I would have preferred, and maybe it's just a different perspective, but I would have preferred, just for the sake of like my own comfort as an American, to at least see him, even if he said answers I didn't agree with or didn't like, not look like a complete moron. Does that make sense? Just as a citizen of a country. It was rough, man.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I loved every second.
I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it.
The political system in America doesn't encourage the smartest, brightest people to run for office. We don't. Okay.
Obviously not.
Obviously not. We've already had two
at all.
I mean, look at the previous election. We had to choose the worst of two, the better of two evils.
Oh, God.
This election is just as bad, if not worse, because one of the candidates can't even talk. So yeah, the political system here does not encourage the best and brightest to run. And that,
it doesn't.
I don't know what to tell you. That's what we got. That's what we deserve, I guess.
Well, also, I think the real problem is that with that interview, Trump's typically able to push over people. He's able to mow them over, and he wasn't able to do it with this guy because this guy had his facts and he kept hitting them. I mean, the best part of the interview to me was whenever Trump was trying to like show his proof with these fucking pieces of paper, and like the guy's like, "No, Mr. President, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying," and then he basically manipulated the manipulator's words. It was a brutal being. It was a beatdown, dude. It really was. And I'm not trying to say that Trump is good or bad or whatever. I mean, everyone knows how I feel about him, but I think in the end, it kind of showed like he was full of shit. Like that dude, like that reporter would do that to me, and I'm just a normal dude. I'm not the leader of the free world. at all.
That's what I was getting at earlier. Like, I felt like, yeah, I felt like it was, watching somebody who's out of their league answer those questions.
Yeah.
You know,
He's so used to everyone sucking his balls all the time. Like, that's what he does. He surrounds himself with people that suck his balls all the time.
yeah.
And
Well,
whenever
he's had
he comes
for
yeah.
even before his political career,
Yep.
that was, you know what I mean? I'm sure that was the case all throughout his real estate and, you know, other ventures, his whole career.
I don't think he's really had a career, to be honest with you, but that's my opinion. I think once the tax records are released, I think that's what he's really worried about. But either way, it was to me, it was an interesting, it was a great interview. That guy, Jonathan Swan, I'm hoping that he does this to Biden. I'm hoping he does this to a lot more people. I really think that we need somebody like a Tom Brokaw, somebody back in media that does this, that burns these guys and beats them like little children, because the reality is that this will not, and while I don't like Trump, I don't think this will be a one-off. I think he puts Hillary Clinton in the hot seat. She's going to crumble. I think he puts Pelosi in that hot seat. She's going to break. It doesn't matter who he puts in that hot seat, because it just shows how underqualified all these people are.
I think if he puts Biden on there, he's gonna have violent dementia and probably punch him in the face.
Dude, did you hear his latest interview?
No.
Oh my God! So yeah, he had a repeat interview, or not necessarily a repeat. I'm sorry, like a revenge interview with somebody from NPR, and I think he asked him a question. He goes, "No, man, what are you talking about?" Like he went hard on him, like Biden basically kind of flexed. He's like, "Nah, man, that's not what I'm trying to do. What are you talking about?"
He stood up and shit.
Yeah,
like,
he stood up like,
"Hey, man,
you know what? Check this out." So I don't know. I wouldn't fuck with Biden. And to be honest with you, I think, you know, if there's an over under on Biden versus Trump, Biden's fucking him up. That dude's he's from fucking Pennsylvania. That dude's a fucking coal miner type dude. He's whooping his ass physically.
I could see that.
But Weekend at Bernie's ain't gonna do shit. Like I said, I think we're still. I still think. I would like to see this guy. That the real star of the interview is the interviewer, Jonathan Swan.
No doubt.
He killed it.
No doubt.
I hope we need that.
Yeah, and I think it does. Honestly, he should interview Biden as well. And maybe that's the new measuring stick. Just like, let this guy grill both candidates and like, okay, now we know, like, fuck all the bullshit. Let's see what they're really made of. And I mean, that's what the debates should be, right?
Oh, for real. Yeah. You know? But they're not.
I mean, that's kind of the purpose, theoretically. But yeah, oh man, I don't know what Biden's got for him. I mean, that could be actually pretty interesting, honestly.
What, the debates?
Like you said, if it starts to go south, well, the debates, and if he goes on Axios.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm telling you, the debates is Weekend at Bernie's versus Trump, and it's going to be the greatest thing we've ever seen.
He's not going to know. Yeah. I mean, what was it? It was very recently. He, couple weeks ago. I don't. Oh, go ahead, man.
I was going to say it might actually make up for the Olympics, you know, being gone. So.
Yes.
Wait.
Sir.
You mean the Special Olympics or the regular?
Both, man.
Yikes. Easy.
Presidential debates, except for the Olympics being gone this year, man.
Hey, man, those kids work hard. Dude.
Oh, shoot.
Shout out to the Special Olympics. Fucking Ben's an asshole.
100. No, I'm not. I'm telling
you're being a fucking asshole.
Hey,
dude.
The Ringer. The Ringer was a good movie, but what I'm saying is, when it comes down to those kids will fuck me up, bro. I'm slow as shit. I'm the most unathletic person ever born, so I'm not trying to ever comment. But yeah, these two gentlemen, like maybe the geriatric Olympics. Like I'm trying to categorize how shitty this competition will be, but how wonderful it'll. You know what I'm saying? It's like seeing like Greco-Roman wrestling with like two 80-year-olds. It's gonna be amazing. It's just gonna be so great to see how both of them will say nothing but say everything at the same time. It's gonna be fucking monumental, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's spectator. Yeah, you can't have it takes the place of sports. You know what I mean?
Oh, it is a sport.
with
It's gonna be
the
the
no
greatest.
audience version.
Oh, right.
That's a little weird, isn't it? Like in the
What?
NBA, well, the fact that all these professional sports and there's no audience, they have like cut out.
Oh,
And
that's
then
creepy, man.
it's super creepy, and they're
Yeah.
pumping in like crowd noise.
Yeah.
I was watching.
they've been doing that with
Yeah,
soccer. With the English
I
Premier
think
League.
they started it, and then the NBA was doing it too, because I happened to walk by a TV that was playing a game, and honestly, I hadn't. I'm a big sports fan, but since this whole thing happened, and it's just different. Like I kind of just fell off. Like, you know what? If they can fucking play, they can not play. It's not really bothering me. I'm not really in that zone right now. And it's hard to kind of get behind it the same way I normally would when everything's so fucked up. So I watched it, right? I walked by and I was like, hey, wait a minute. Like, is that like pumped in crowd noise? Like, is that audio from the PA? And it's
Someone at the game. Yeah.
like a laugh track on a sitcom.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
it's what it
great.
is. That's
my God.
amazing.
I was watching
guess-
United the other day, and that's what. So like, whenever they
Yeah.
missed a shot, they were like, "Oh,
Wait a second. And the stands are
so
empty?
who's control?
yeah." No. There's a DJ controlling like when United would like go up for a shot and they missed it. They literally had a track that goes, "Oh no, oh!" But when they scored, it was like, it was pretty fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
that
there's
problem.
somebody on the switchboard
Yep.
paying attention, be like, okay, this is basically just
Good.
hitting a sound like a soundboard.
Yep.
You know?
And then the chants and the singing during the game, like, here we
that's
go,
amazing.
Reds. Like it's like there's the whole time. I mean, I'm like,
That's
that's
amazing.
awesome. So for real, yeah, the trumped up the thing. But you know what? I have to agree. I was listening to Shab or somebody talking about sports without spectators. It's kind of, I don't know, man. I think the NBA actually does pretty good. Like I kind of enjoy some of these sports without the spectators. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's actually the NBA kind of works because
right?
it's almost like watching it in a gym.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine how great it would be to watch two NBA teams play in a like a high school gym? Dude, I'd pay a lot of money for that. That would be tight.
That'd be dope, dude.
But
That'd be badass.
But we are about to hit that moment, about to hit a break here. So stay tuned. We will be back shortly. See you in a few minutes. Hold on. And we are back. What you got, Rick?
Hey guys, yeah. So I was actually looking at the markets this week, and I noticed that gold actually passed the $2,000 per ounce barrier. It hasn't done that since. Well, the last time it got even remotely close to that was back in the 2008 crash, and it didn't even reach 2000. It got to like 1900 or something, and it went back down. But we've actually passed the $2,000 mark this week. It is not coming down. It's only going up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary as fuck, man. Only because that kind of shows the amount of inflation that's going on in the country. All this money that we're printing out, and we do need the money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot of people hurting out there, but I think we're paying a lot of money. We're printing a lot of money. We're not paying it back. It's causing inflation. This just indicates that the prices of things are about to go up significantly in this country. So I don't know. I just want to open up the discussion and see what your guys' thoughts were on that. It's just gold as a commodity, and it's just one commodity around the country. And once we start looking at other commodities like eggs, food, gas, all that's going to go up too. This is only going to end when the economy gets better, when we start reeling in the amount of money that's out there, bringing it back in. And I just want to know what you guys thought.
So what, yeah, but if it keeps going up, like, or I guess to put it in perspective, you said in 2008, it hit like around 1,000.
No, it hit about maybe 1,800 per ounce. Yeah, about
so it
1,800 to
approached kind of
1,900.
what it was now.
Yeah, it approached 2,000, man. People were like, gold's never been above 2,000 ever, and this week it surpassed it, and it's just going up now. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. You know, it's very worrisome.
Well, there's been some market movement on that. I mean, so the volatility of any index is always going to be a big factor whenever one considers, commodities. So when gold hit that 2,000 mark, the only problem is that gold hit the 2,000 mark, but the market also surged almost 2.5%, 3% this week alone in the first 3 days. Which once again allies to what we've talked about. I think there's a dysfunction in the market.
Hold on. Sorry about that.
No worries, man.
I got something going on here. All right.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. So I think there's a surge in the market. I mean, there's a dysfunctionality in the market, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely an issue in regards to commodities. I mean, right now you're seeing, gold at 2,000 plus, like you said, that's never happened before. And that's just caused by the lack of confidence in the value of the market. So that's a scary situation. I mean, that's a predictor for inflation. Like you're saying, I mean, the US dollar is going to lose value. I mean, if you looked at it right now, the US dollar is now going down and the euro is going up.
Yeah.
We're going to run into a real situation here at some point. And, not to get too technical when it comes to economics, but, this is always been the doomsday factor for all these. You ever seen these crazy right-wing, newsletters like gold will hit $15,000 and all this stuff? But
do people even get
heading
gold?
that way? It's heading that way.
Do people actually receive gold in the mail or something? How does that work? Do you know?
Well, I mean, there's two different ways to purchase gold commodities. You can purchase it through a third-party vendor, which essentially you end up paying kind of a holding fee, or you actually purchase real gold. And the mint, of course, sells 1 ounce coins that you can actually purchase. So, you know what I'm saying? So, essentially, they I don't know. I keep saying essentially, but.
That's your word, man. It's your comfort word.
I gotta get over this fucking word. But the gold itself. So that's the two ways. It's either through the commodities market through a third party like holder, or through actually purchasing 1 ounce gold coins. And every country mints their own. I believe. I think.
Well, do you know which country is minting the most gold right now?
Oh, I could fucking tell you right now.
Who is it?
Come
China.
on. Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
that's what the commodity market leads to, is imperialism. And that's what they're practicing right now. They've gone to Africa. They got all the fucking the lithium. They have all those resources with lithium. They're going to own commodities. They just went old school. They said, okay, what's the way economics has ran for the last, 7,000 years? Oh, if you have all the resources, you win. The United States, of course, flirted with the concept of capitalism and then basically manufacturing. We had several raw resources, but what we had was capability. Now China just said, "Fuck it, we're just taking everything," and in the end, that's what's key. So I mean, that's why you see a volatility. The dollar's dropping, man. The dollar's dropping. I'm just terrified of the day whenever whenever China finally talks Saudi, the Saudis into essentially replacing the dollar bill in the oil bond currency.
I don't think they'd ever do it, man. I mean,
I think they will.
China manipulates its currency. It's too volatile in that sense.
Nah, but if China comes up with enough gold, Saudi Arabia will do it. I think Saudi Arabia wouldn't mind going for solid commodities as purchasing for commodities, trading commodities for commodities, real value things. I think the United States is now on the precipice of serious inflation. And that's when you have to start wondering. I mean, but it's already kind of there.
Yeah.
I remember paying for pharmacy school, right? It was $8,000 a year, roughly $8,000 to $12,000 a year, Jesus, tuition and fees, right?
Yeah.
Now that same thing is $25,000 a year. I mean, I haven't been out of pharmacy school that long. It's only been 10 years.
Yeah, but those are great universities. Let's talk about like food. I mean, going to HEB now,
right?
For a family of 4 used to cost about maybe $60 for groceries. Yeah. Now it's about $80 to $100.
Oh, if not, no, way more.
I'm spending $200 at Costco now.
Oh,
that's normal.
Well, that's the idea. Fucking Costco. They'll get you. They got all that shit. They got
Costco.
You rich motherfucker.
Here,
here goes this rich motherfucker talking about, well, at Costco, it's expensive. Well, no shit. You got to pay a membership to go fucking buy food. I mean, come on.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I got a membership to spend money here. Fuck.
My soft touch polos are like $100 now, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, you can. If you work it, you can get your money on Costco. You can, but the way they make their money is because they got like carnival barkers getting you to buy shit you don't fucking need.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's air quotes on sale, or you know what I mean? They're still making.
Man, fuck you.
50%.
I like my cinnamon roasted like pecans.
Yeah,
like,
man, that's pretty good.
Fuck
exactly.
That. That's why I can't have a Costco membership. I can't do that shit. I'll walk out $700, be like, what happened? Why did I do this to myself?
Yeah, man, fuck the price of gold. Let's talk about the price of cashews.
Right.
Like, fuck, dude, like a 30 ounce container is like $65 or whatever.
Yo, dude, no fucking pistachios. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta take out a fucking mortgage to get some fucking pistachios. but yeah, I think that. Huh?
Shout real quick, man. Delayed shout out. Actually, they have they built a Costco down the street from me. There was this empty plot of land forever. Oh, yeah. And I swear, me and the wife just willed it so. We're like, wouldn't it be tight if there was a Costco there? And we just kept, every time we drive by it, like, damn, that'd be tight if they put a Costco there. I swear to God, like 2 years later, there was a sign they posted, and they're finally like, future Costco and blah, blah, blah. So they built it. I can't even remember when they grand opened now, maybe a couple years ago. But yeah, so we hit it up. I mean, see, it's not the type, but you don't go there. That's not where you do your weekly shopping, right? Yeah. You just hit it maybe once a month. And but they do have so your membership though, if you utilize it, because there's an auto buying program. You can get
I got an auto buying program.
No, check it out, bro. Get the brochure, read about it. But anyway, but yeah, there's they get their money, man. Because yeah, it's 100% profit on the membership. So already they're winning. And then if they can get you to buy, some bullshit like, I don't need another hose, but it's like, damn, that thing's like 20 something bucks. Like maybe I could, maybe I'll get a backup because it's such a good deal. Right. But they're still like, it's still marked up. They're making 40% or 50% on that shit. And so
my favorite part of Costco is the pizza. I love Costco pizza.
It is. It's legit.
Sam's pizza, bro. Sam's pizza.
Yeah.
West side.
Yeah. It's like the old Peter Piper pizza,
Oh well, hold on. Pump the brakes.
Peter Piper pizza.
Peter Piper pizza was shit. Peter Piper could pick a peckle and couldn't cook a fucking pizza.
No, that's today.
That shit was horrible.
That's today.
Well, hold on.
Back in the 80s, Peter Piper pizza was
fuck you, Mr. Gaddy's faux life.
Oh, no, you're not lying. Mr. Gatt, underrated, highly underrated pizza place.
Believe that.
That's right, with a DAT. Believe that. Yeah, Gaddy's holds up. You know what else holds up too? Nobody really. Godfathers.
Oh, that was the best.
I ride hard for Godfathers. Too bad. I don't think they exist anymore. But
they don't. I don't. I'd take some people out for some Godfathers pizza.
Yes. Oh man, I miss me some Godfathers.
Back we used to have one.
Heyday, like the 80s.
Dude, we had one in the hood, like right there where I was at, dude. We fucking love that place, dude. They used to have like a big screen TV. Remember, they were the first ones that have like the little salad bars and shit, dude. Now we were
and their crust.
Echelon society.
Yeah, their crust just had a little bit different. It was crispy, but also was kind of fat too.
Yep.
Oh man,
that's gonna be hungry, man.
I know. It's always like we always end up talking about food somehow.
Dude, I'm so gonna end up snacking on some shit tonight. But yeah, so just wrapping this whole thing around for the reach around for the gold thing.
Reach around for gold.
Reach around for gold. Got to grab it hard.
That could be a new Olympic. In lieu of the Olympics being shut down, they could do reach around for gold.
You're gonna see some dirty things happen in the Olympics. Whole bunch of slippery fingers. But yeah, man, I think we are looking at a serious economic crisis
yeah.
if it continues this way, because if we don't have confidence in the United States dollar, right, then the economy, doesn't matter what we do, we can keep printing money to get us out of a situation. But if we don't believe the money's worth anything, we're in deep shit. And we already are showing that. I mean, the average price of a car is what, $35,000 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The previously, and this, because I have a car problem, as y'all both know,
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, the average price of a car was $23,000. Okay. The average price of a home was $115,000. Now it's 200. I believe last time I checked was $225,000. And this is, of course, factor in Detroit, which houses are $9. But if you go into an average neighborhood, houses are $275,000 average, whereas they used to be $140,000, $150,000. We're already in inflation, but we're being padded by 0% and low interest loans. What happens when the piper comes? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what happens whenever this shit gets rolled back? What happens when interest rates finally go back up? We're going to truly understand inflation, because we've been padded against it. When they give you free or low cost loans, they're essentially allowing inflation to increase without completely negatively impacting the people that it's occurring to. Because remember, housing loans back in the 80s were, a good loan was 12% for a house loan. That was a good loan. That was like, man, they hooked you up. That's like a government backed one. Like, you work for the school district, you got to hook up through a credit union.
Mm-hmm.
So
it used to be like 20%, man.
Exactly. Imagine our imagine that.
That's crazy.
Imagine your house loan right now at 20%.
That's messed up.
Dude, I get pissed if anything's over like fucking 1%. You know what I mean? Like, I go hard for like getting the lowest rate on shit. Cars.
That's what I'm saying. We're already in inflation, guys. Yeah. It's just being padded by low interest loans. So I think the gold showing how much people are already understanding that, because people that really have true commodity, people that have true money, are getting out of the bonds. They're getting out of all the other, products that the United States government is issuing and going into solid commodities like gold. And that's just a negative trip. That's just another indicator that we're already in a recession. We're already in a crash. We've just put so much money into our system that while it looks like everything's okay,
it's not.
Everyone's really drowning. So, I really think that Rick, that's when you brought that up. I because we know in the group text when you brought that up, I kind of my heart kind of dropped out my like out of my ass. I was like, holy shit! Like, that's a massive indicator. This is scary shit, guys. So, the Roaring '20s were the same way.
Just grab your ankles and
get ready. Well, I guess it could always be a little bit worse.
Grab your ankles.
If you're, grab your ankles
and lube up, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think. No, I can't afford it.
I'm gonna have to just spit on it.
Well, what happens when they come? You asked earlier what happens when they come to collect. So one option is to drag you against your will into a re-education camp, which is what the CCP is doing to the Uyghurs, ethnic minority in western province of China. We mentioned this before, and this is something that's not, China obviously is getting a lot of publicity, negative publicity. I don't know if publicity is the right word, but probably not as much as it should, to be honest, with what's going on in 2020. I mean, they're batting 1,000 for just being fucks. So this deal, I mean, this has been going, this is not a 2020 issue. This has been going on for several years, but it's kind of just now coming to light. There's been some stories about it. So the Uyghurs, we talked about it before a little bit. We touched on it in an earlier episode, but so anyway, the reason this comes to light or this is kind of relevant now, just recently, some model, I guess he's a young man, making his living as a model, apparently, leaked out a video from inside one of these re-education camps. Now, so to give you a little bit of background, there has been some investigative reports done by, BBC, amongst others, where, because obviously limited access is granted to journalists to cover these things for obvious reasons.
Wait. Access?
Yeah. So, well, no, but there was one, I think last year, I don't know the name of the reporter, but I think he was from BBC. He went in and did a, kind of an expose on these things, and the thing being spewed to him by the people that he was interviewing was no, we're not, they're not against the world. Look, they're painting, they're dancing, they're learning all these cultural things. But he's kind of like, well, yeah, but they don't know when they're allowed to leave. Like, that's like prison, right? And they're like, no, this isn't prison. They get to paint. They just kept trying to ram that home. Like, look, they're fucking painting. It's like, yeah, they're painting right now because you knew they were coming with cameras. But so anyway, so this model, his last name is I think Gapar. I don't know the spelling because I'm not familiar with the Uyghur people and their the pronunciations. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not trying to make light, but anyhow, this kid, he's a young guy, probably in his 20s or whatever. He posts a video of him in his living quarters, which is pretty rough looking, and he's cuffed to his bed. And there's like, I don't speak Mandarin, but there's propaganda being blasted through the PA, like constantly in their rooms and shit, telling about like, yeah, you must show dedication to the Chinese Communist Party. Communism is the way to go. It's scary as fuck, dude. And his family made a statement saying that they haven't seen this cat in like 5 months, like no contact. So obviously he's being held there against his will. So all this stuff about no, we're just, they have a problem. They're extremists and they have a tendency to become terrorists. So we have to show them, the way to live and how to accept, their place in Chinese culture and all this stuff. Like, that's the idea, right? That's the surface. But no, they're being taken against their will and put in these things. And, there's stories coming out of, like I mean, this sounds like I'm making this up, but they're so it did come out a few months ago about women being involuntarily sterilized, right? So that's a real thing. Now they're saying that they're harvesting organs of these people. I mean, Jesus Christ. And you don't hear any kind of public uproar aside from a few stories here and there. So that's one of the reasons I just kind of wanted to bring this up, is because if anybody's listening out there, man, the more, this is a fucking humanitarian atrocity, and nobody's coming up to fucking step up about this. And it's just fucked up, dude. And it's because of the conversation we were having earlier. Everybody's in China's pocket and nobody can say shit because they're going to lose out on, opportunities or lose out on some money. But that's the way it is, man. That's
the way the world turns.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, but it's not like the situation's really going to do anything. I mean, look at Tibet.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, fucking Tibet. How long has it been? With Tibet,
decades, man.
I mean, we're talking about monks that were self-immoling themselves. They were burning themselves to death to protest, just like they did in Vietnam, and it's done nothing. They don't even really acknowledge anything. Their spiritual leader has been exiled his whole life from his homeland, and I mean, when it comes down to it, dude, I know it's almost ridiculous when you think about it, because you're like, oh fuck, like fuck the CCP.
When people are setting themselves on fire to protest, that's when it might be an indicator of an issue.
Right? I mean, fuck. I mean, but remember during the 80s, like, so the Tibetans were the Uyghurs of the 80s. So
Right.
remember, you had Richard Gere, you had people like, oh, what about the Tibetan
Beastie
monks?
Boys.
Exactly. Everyone was
hard.
down with the
MCA.
Dalai Lama.
Rest in
But
peace. MCA rode hard for Tibet.
real. Fuck, that dude was real, man. That was an awesome guy.
Hell
But,
yeah,
like,
that's it.
but you
real
see
one.
this. So China is the epitome of when a state gives zero fucks. They give zero fucks about anything or anyone's opinion regarding their control or their rules. I mean, that's reality. You know, so unfortunately, this Uyghur situation, I just don't. I mean, I forwarded y'all in the group text just in regards to that, the New York Post and all these media outlets that have been receiving money to squash these stories. This is a real problem. China is controlling all of our media, and guess what, guys? We are not hearing about Uyghurs that much, are we? You know, and the same thing with Hong Kong with fucking LeBron. I mean, great basketball player. You know what? I'm not gonna talk shit. That dude has game, but he's a fucking asshole. I mean, when it came to talking, whenever the Rockets guy was like, "Hey, this Hong Kong shit's pretty fucked up," no one got his back.
Yeah, not at all.
And LeBron was like, "Well, you know, I don't want to comment on other people's countries," but here he is talking about human rights to everyone else, acting as if he is. Even the NBA, it's almost gross how they have all these jerseys that say equality, you know, justice, peace, but when they really could have stepped up with the Hong Kong situation or with anything to do with China, what did they do? They went where the money was, and it's just fucked up. It's funny. It's just gross.
Yeah, you bring up the jersey thing. I was going to touch on that a little bit too. Like, I get the spirit of it is, I mean, obviously, man, I'm 100% behind people being treated fairly. And yes, America has a problem. We've stated this.
There's an issue. There is a systemic racial problem.
Right, 100%. I am not denying that at all.
At all.
However, sometimes the way it's expressed, especially by organizations like the NBA, to me, it's fine that they do stuff like that, and that everybody's, you know, supporting Black Lives Matter. That's fine. I'm not downplaying that. But I guess to me, it just seems like there's nothing behind it, right? Like, it's almost like, yeah, we'll do. There's all these little steps we can take, like, oh, we'll put all these like inspirational shit on their jerseys, and what the fuck else are you doing besides that, though? Yeah. You see what I'm coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should just leave politics out of sports. Period.
Yeah, just let it be sports.
You can't do that.
You got to. I mean,
you can't do that.
It's supposed to be a distraction.
Explain. I would like you to expound.
I go to a bar, right? The game's on. I'm trying to have, you know, I look up the games whenever, you know, you're talking or whatever. I want to forget about politics. I don't want to see, you know, the things I've been seeing all day long in the news. That's what the news is for. Keep politics out of sports. People will enjoy it more. And you can go to China and do your shit, and no one will call you a hypocrite. Okay? Just leave politics out of sports. You can do whatever the hell you want. No one's going to question your values then.
Right. And you're right. So I agree to you in an extent that, like, if you're going to claim that you're for equality, claim that you're for this, then it needs to be a universal concept. You know, you just can't stop short whenever you're not making money off of it, or you're going to lose money off it. You're right. But at the same time, a majority of the greatest sports personnel, players, individuals in American sports are part of a minority group that has been systematically, downtrodden in our society. They were former slaves. They have been, prevented from excelling in our society. And, a lot of Black Americans, they run sports. So you know what? I feel them. Hey, that's okay to me. It's okay if you want to do that, because that's their true platform. That's where they can, in their minds, make a difference. I mean, racial integration in sports might have been paramount in racial integration to our society. When Jackie Robinson did what
yeah.
he did, there's a lot of white people that all of a sudden said, you know what? I can deal with black people. They can win me a game. They can take my team somewhere. And that was the beginning of a lot of racial integration, in my opinion. Yeah.
And honestly, too, if you look, you know, historically, too, there's a reason why, I mean, people can make all kinds of different arguments about, you know, physicality and genetics and these things that, you know, that's been done before, obviously. But
right.
An angle I always kind of approached is, so, you know, you bring up Jackie Robinson, or even earlier than that, like Jack Johnson, the boxer, and I always think, so look at it this way, in a country where you don't have rights, right? Like what are the avenues that they did have? Okay. There was entertainment, right?
Yep.
And there was athletics. Being that those were like the very narrow opportunity, it's like, holy shit, you put all your eggs in that basket. And I think what resulted is a disproportionate of Black Americans excelling in those avenues because that was the only option, right?
Yeah.
So you do have these phenomenal singers, musicians, athletes, because for a very long time that was it. Yeah, because if you look back, it's almost, you know, in hindsight, it's crazy that, you know, Jackie Robinson had such a hard time coming into Major League Baseball. But really, if you look back at it, the way society was it then, yeah, they weren't there yet, right? So the fact that he did break throughs is that much more remarkable. And I think that's what kind of more explains it than anything, is that for so long, that was the opportunity, like just a select few avenues, and then boom. So,
yeah,
you know, if that's where you invest all your time, you're going to get all these success stories and those opportunities.
But I feel you, Rick. I feel you. It's window dressing, you know.
It is window dressing.
I feel you.
You know, it's all or nothing. Be consistent or not. If you got teams playing in China, are they going to wear jerseys that say, you know, free the Uyghur people, free Hong Kong? They're not going to do that.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, ever.
No, they're not.
Are they going to answer questions regarding that? Are you going to have Steve Kerr out there talking about that? No,
they're not.
They're not. It's window dressing. They're, you know, I don't know, man.
Oh,
just be real, okay? People will have more respect for you if you're just real about it.
Right. And I feel you. I do feel you, Rick. I do feel that there's that is window dressing. I mean, equality, justice, love, peace. All right, dude. Look, yeah. I feel you. Like, cool, but you're not applying that universally because you're scared you're going to lose your money. You know, there's a lot of great civil rights people who laid it all out on the line. You know, King, what's his name? Lewis, the representative who just passed away. Those were individuals that laid it on the line. They got arrested. They were willing to die for what they believed in. And financial gain was not part of their of what they believe. So, yeah, it's window dressing. They can act like they are super conscious and we're helping our people, but I feel you. It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But so speaking of bullshit, but at least to some people, something had come up on the text thread this week that was we're shifting gears a little bit abruptly. Not so much of a smooth transition, but
going into reverse.
We're going into reverse, a hard reverse. But I wanted to bring up, just almost hit it on the anniversary. So September 11th, 1997. And, you know, we've mentioned we're big fans of the Coast to Coast with Art Bell from back in the day. So the infamous caller, probably one of the more famous callers in I mean, I don't know if I'd say radio history, but the Area 51. Yeah, it really is. I mean,
I would have to say
the significant moment in radio history. So yeah, September 11th, significantly, 1997, Art Bell on the Coast to Coast show he opened up the lines. He said, the callers. He's like, I'm only taking calls from people that have worked at Area 51. And so about halfway through the show, this dude calls up, and if this wasn't real, this is one of the greatest performances by a radio show call-in in the history of radio. This guy was freaking out, like, they're about to triangulate my location, Art. He's like, I just wanted to tell you that they the beings are not what they say they are. They're they're not from another planet. They're interdimensional beings. And and he was starting to break down in tears. And he's like, they're about to move everybody into they're taking everybody into the big cities so they can. Anyway, I just thought it was great to bring up right now, because it seems like it's become relevant that with COVID happening, first of all, I guess just to open up discussion, y'all think it's bullshit, or I mean, as much as I love the show, I do kind of think it was. Let me hold on before we get to that. The big thing though that happened that made this that much more relevant was about maybe a minute or so into Homeboy's call, went dead air. So if you were listening live, it went off for a significant amount of time, but so if you don't know, so Art Bell, he basically transmitted from his own house. He's out there in the desert, like not that far from Area 51, and right there in his trailer, and he had all kinds of, I'm sure, equipment and towers and shit. So his satellite like lost connection right as this guy is starting to get into the meat of, freaking out and like, they're gonna find me and all this shit. So it goes off the air. And so obviously drawing the conspiracy theories, say, was somebody at Area 51 listening to this dude, and they cut, they pulled the plug and all this shit. So he had to complete the show on a backup system. But anyway, it's just a great, a great moment in radio history. So I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Is it real? Is it bullshit? What do y'all think?
I saw a report where the guards that they hire to patrol the perimeter outside of Area 51, they're hired people, right? But if you're one of the soldiers that gets to guard the inside of the compound, they tell you that you're going to guard this room, but you cannot look into it. You have to stare one direction, which is outward, never staring backward behind you. So, I mean, they're pretty strict about that. They're really strict about their secrets. I'm not sure what they're trying to hide in there. But yeah, man, if you're a security guard inside of Area 51 and you're guarding this room, they have specific instructions for you not to stare into the room that you're guarding. You cannot.
Okay. That. Okay, yeah. There's a secret. There's something weird going on in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I think so the caller was interesting in my opinion, because he called another program several years later. I believe it was 10 years later. He called another program, and he's doing the same frantic thing, and the guy's like, "What? He just cold calls another type program." And the guy's, "Wait, are you referencing the Art Bell conversation?" He's like, Yes. He goes, "Well, hold on. Where have you been? Like, what's going on here?" And he starts going to a spill. So, do I think the guy was bullshit? I mean,
maybe.
Some people think it was an elaborate hoax. Some people think it was like a joke, because his acting was kind of a little. You would almost say dramatic, but I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, a lot of shit's changed in the last month. You got the government saying, there's a possibility that we've recovered a craft. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that have been talking a lot of shit for a long time that are starting to look at everyone going, "See, I told you, this is real." So I don't think you can doubt anything right now, man.
Do you think Art Bell was in on it? It was a hoax?
Well, that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Is because the thing cutting off, right? Like, so it's easy to, the caller, I could definitely say, all right, because he had a lot of guys. I mean, that was the whole thing, dude. That's the whole entertaining part of the show, is that and that's why he was so brilliant, is that he would never just be like, "Oh, you're full of shit, get off." he just like, no, tell me more. Like what? Like,
Yeah.
like let's get as fucking crazy as we can absolutely push it. And that's why you listen, right? That's
I
why.
love Art
I mean,
Bell.
that's
I
why,
love Art Bell.
dude. It's a fucking absolute legend. Like,
He's a national treasure.
Yes, they don't make them like that anymore, dude.
No.
And so that's what made the show so great. It's like just absolute Looney Tunes would call in, but he would like, okay, like you could tell, like there was a little sense of sometimes when he could tell somebody was full of shit, like he'd make some little comment, but in the guise of like hosting the show, he'd let them say their piece. And so, yeah, so just that being said, yeah, I get the impression that this was a pretty good acting job, but albeit, hey, props, because it was I mean, it was pretty good, right? Like it fooled a lot of people.
You know?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
for
still
real.
talking about it, like
20 years
however
later,
many
yeah.
years later, a lot.
Well, it touched me. It touched me deep.
But for sure. But the fact that it went, yeah, so that's where it kind of brings up, you know, yeah, what was he in on it? I don't know. That's I mean,
No,
put on the
Art
show,
Bell's,
probably.
Art Bell's a
Yeah.
fucking saint. He was never in on it.
yeah, he's
You know
a
what?
G, dude. I don't think
He's
would.
had the same hair color for 50 years. That dude's gangster. You know what? Art Bell's a saint. You got a problem with Art Bell, you got a problem with me. Nah, I think that though, a lot of things that people have said now are being re-scrutinized over the last 20, 30 years. All of a sudden people are like, wait a second, maybe this person was really telling the truth. Maybe the reality is that there is really something that these people saw. And so I think even, while people could say it was an elaborate hoax, that even perpetrated by Art Bell, whatnot, I think everyone has starting to take a look. So we all know the truth is out there, guys. Everything's changing. This is a big deal. So all these crazy people, we'll see which one's real, which one's not. And, if we got the aliens probing us all, especially Rick, it's going to be pretty difficult, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the key is sorting through all like, I definitely think there's something that's being hidden.
What happens if it's all real, though? What happens if
every single thing is real? Yeah, that'd be a little bit
that bad if it was real?
That'd be great.
We got COVID. We got two competent people running for leaders of the free world. Inflation's going on. Would aliens really be the worst thing that can happen to us?
Not really. It couldn't really be much worse.
Well, if you're a Republican, a legal alien, then yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. How are we going to handle that?
We got to get that.
Will aliens from space be illegal aliens? Technically,
yes, they will.
Yeah. Good luck deporting them back to whatever they're Sparnak 49.
No, we have to learn that. We just go back to Mars.
Yeah, whatever they're gonna beat you like a little child. Be like they're gonna be all like bug like and shit.
No, I imagine it to say like Mark Lark, like they do in South Park.
Oh, that'd be awesome. What was that shit? They just do the nanu. What happens if Robin Williams is right the whole time? It's just nanu.
It's nanu.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Or they could start shaking down local businesses.
Oh,
to make sure that they have the correct percentage of
alien
representation. Yeah, so that brings up a story I read today. Credibility will remains to be seen. This comes from Above Top Secret, which is a little hit or miss. But it's definitely a resource I dive into because it's some good stuff. So apparently in Louisville, Kentucky, there's been, and first let me say this. So Black Lives Matter, right? When you use that term, it's like Antifa, right? There's not like a structured organization per se where there's a somebody who's in the position of leadership and there's delegates and there's chapters. It's not really that well organized. So the article is using, well, let me say this. So there's a group of people in Louisville apparently using mafia tactics to like demand from local Cuban businesses that they staff their businesses with at least, and this is the real number that they use in the article, 23% Black employees, and that they have to donate a certain percentage of their proceeds from their business to Black charities, and they have to buy supplies and whatnot from a certain percentage from Black owned businesses.
3%.
Now this is the first I've heard of any kind of thing like that. I mean, it doesn't shock me. I'm sure there's so I mean, I guess the thing here is to point out that they use Black Lives Matter, right? And I'm sure that it's very possible that there is a criminal organization operating under the guise of Black Lives Matter to use to their advantage to basically extort and shake down local businesses. So now we've got to worry about that too.
Fuck. You know what? Just whatever. It's just, I don't even know how to handle this. So unpacking this without crossing too many barriers. I mean, Black Lives Matter is actually two distinctly different things. There's Black Lives Matter, which is the movement, and then there's Black Lives Matter, which is the corporation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you ever get a chance, reading their mission statement will really be like, whoa. So I imagine that these individuals were probably part of the corporation, like trying to establish control. That's rough, man. I mean, first off, a lot of Cubans are already of Afro-American or Afro-Cuban descent. So the majority,
there's some crossover there. Yeah.
A lot of Black Cubans. So the fact that they hit up those guys was, just in itself ironic. So I don't know. I mean, forcing things like that, but it goes back to the affirmative action concept and all these things. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a rough one to go into local businesses and say that like everyone has to mirror the exact ethnic makeup of every city. I don't know. That's rough. I can understand for like larger organizations and like federal government things, but if you go into like Juan's Cubano shop,
right? Well, I mean, it's one thing to encourage or promote the high or the what's the word I'm trying to say? Like, yes, you want to promote diversity in the workplace, okay?
Right. Yes, we do want that.
But I don't think we need mafioso tactics.
Well, last time I checked, Latinos
shaking down local business.
Well, Latinos are a minority. Like,
right. Well, and that's the whole thing. Is
I don't understand that.
And the whole reason that this came up was that they there's like a spokesperson saying like, hey, this is happening in our community, this is fucked up, and that's how the story broke. But that begs the question, is this two things? My first instinct is like, so just like the stuff with riots and looting or whatever, there's always going to be people that take advantage, right? So to what degree in certain places are basically just criminals? I mean, it's even like with religious fundamentalism,
right,
in the Middle East and stuff, right? Like a lot of these are just opportunistic criminals,
right?
And
who knows if this isn't an Antifa arm of the particular thing,
for sure,
because Antifa, right? Just, I mean, they're there just to fuck shit up. Antifa just wants anarchy. I mean, they really need to change their names into anarchists. They're really not there to substantiate peace or to develop any type of relationship. They're just there to just burn it down. So
yeah,
that to me, that sounds like, I don't know, that sounds like some type of arm of individuals like that, because the more and more you look into some of these groups, you see how well funded they are. You see how they're always available. It's an interesting This is just messed up. So to see them shaking down a Cuban restaurant, I mean, it's just like, well, you're shaking down someone that's a minority too. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, aren't you happy that it's a minority-owned business? Why do you have to specify which minority it has to be?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And I think it points out the ridiculousness of getting that, splitting hairs over. At that point, in other words, you're not trying to promote positive growth in the community. You're taking advantage and looking to looking to profit, really. I mean, fuck.
How did they come up with 23%? They look down at their shoes and say, "Oh, 23%." I mean,
Jordans.
Is that how that works?
That's how they got that for sure. 100%.
Yeah, they just looked at their shoes
at least we know. Hey, at least I know my Special Olympics comment. It's not the worst thing that was said tonight.
You just got bested.
Yeah, that was exactly what they do. They go to every single city and they go, you know what? Shit. It depends on what team he played for. If with the White Sox, what was it, 11 or something? It's 11%.
45%.
I don't think that's how that was calculated. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think, Rick? You're the closest thing to
Cuban? I'm not nowhere near Cuban, but it's just
you're pretty close.
Man. It's just extortion, dude. It's just that's all it is.
That's it. It's people taking advantage.
The thing is that they're barking up the wrong tree, man. These guys are gonna fight back if it's true. Yeah. They're not gonna take it. They're not gonna take it lying down.
Yeah. You're not gonna go into a Mexican neighborhood and do that.
Never, man. They should go to Cuban neighborhoods. Don't go to Mexican neighborhoods. Stick with the white people. All right.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of knives that come out.
Exactly.
There's gonna be a bunch of knives.
I think too. What else this situation kind of points out too is you need to be careful, just as a observer of this kind of thing, when you hear stories like this, associating it with the term Black Lives Matter. You have to start kind of scrutinizing, like, what does that actually mean, right?
Yes.
So if you got a group of assholes just under the guise of, okay, Black Lives Matter, just trying to extort people for fucking money, that's all that is. It's not, in other words, you can't point to that and say, oh, Black Lives Matter is now extorting money from Cuban immigrants in Louisville, Kentucky. The fuck? No, they're not. That. Some pieces of shit are doing that, and they're doing that with that name. So I guess that's the problem with nowadays with these movements, right? Is that there isn't really a traceability. It's just kind of anybody can do. I mean, they can, fucking commit arson and blow buildings up and do all kinds of shit under that name. So there's no, it's hard to get traction as a movement when there isn't any sort of organization to it.
Right. And also everyone can just throw hashtag Black Lives Matter and whatever they said before, whether it was anti-Semitic, whether it was destructive, whether it was horrible, they can basically just say, oh, hey, and then hashtag Black Lives Matter. And it's like, well, whoa, bro, you can't do that. Like Black Lives Matter, like, and I'm not, in my understanding, there's been a systemic racism in the United States. Black African Americans, Black Americans have been persecuted beyond the extent that most people will ever understand. They were slaves. They have been systematically, hunted down. They have been. It's just been horrible. Mm-hmm. But you can't do things like that. You can't say things like that. So yeah, that's pretty nuts, man. Just to see things like that happen with Black Lives Matter movement is people are starting to take the umbrella and put it over nefarious situations.
Yeah, well, and hopefully, if there is some sort of structure to it, you would hope that prominent people within the movement would condemn shit like this. Right. If they want to establish any kind of credibility and move forward with it. So hopefully, if this gains any traction, like I said, this could just be a complete. It's hard to tell these days, man. This can be complete bullshit, but I don't know, man. At the end of the day, that's what we're here for, guys.
Yeah.
Skip the Noise team. Yep. We are here to filter this shit for you.
Filter.
Exactly. There's way too much information coming. So the three of us we'll sort it out for you. And on that note, it's about time to wrap it up. So it's been a great week, and we hope to see you guys next week.
Yeah, and thank you. Yeah, good night, guys. And hey, thank you all the new listeners. Tell your friends, tell your family. You know, if you have a birthday party, mention it.
That's right. We'll come blow balloons and shit. We'll make balloon animals. But and well, on that note too, yeah, definitely. You know, give us a follow on Twitter, man, or hit us up or something. It's skip the noise PO1. And I do a little bit of live streaming on. If you're a Podbean listener, I don't have a set. Yeah, no shirt on for show. There's no video, but you can at least know that in your head. I can. Yeah, I'll vouch for that. I will if you want. I'll just do it shirtless.
With
paste, you can't see it. You'll just at least you can just know in your head that that's what's going down. But if you do listen to that, I've had a few. Yeah, hit me up on that. Call in. I've had an idea lately. If you call in, you know, have a good take. I'll put it on I'll work it into the weekly show. I think that would be cool. We may get into doing a little bit of live stuff so we can kind of interact with you guys and get some calls in. So anyway, I'm just putting that out there. Normally I get on about 11:30, 11:45. Once again, I don't have a set schedule, but a couple times a week. So look for it if you are a Podbean listener. Try to get on that live stream. Hit me up. Put your stamp on it. If you got a comment on something we said, you know, if you think we're full of shit, anything, man, we want to hear it. So
no, I don't want to hear the full shit.
Good or bad. I don't.
Yeah, well, you could pray, right? Yeah, no, just kiss our ass and blow smoke.
Yeah. Just tell us we're perfect. But no, seriously, tell us we would love to hear from you guys. Just let us know. We're trying to grow this thing. We're totally grassroots. Nothing special about us except for just some great hairdos. But we're definitely bringing. We want to bring this out to y'all. We want to make this as real as possible. We want to give y'all the best possible experience. So yeah, just let us know. And thank you for joining us again tonight, guys.